Whoa, okay. The House Inhabit bombshell investigation into Meghan Markle is close to dropping. Lauren, the insider, is with me now. Lauren, I've been speaking to Jessica Reid-Krause for many months about this. For people who don't know, she is a wonderful woman, in my opinion. Understand she's very controversial. She used to run a mummy blog. She has increasingly become highly political, very connected to the Donald Trump administration. But this is a woman who drops truth bombs and who always keeps the receipts. And for some time, she has been promising major revelations to come on Meghan Markle, on Meghan Markle's past. And what we've seen overnight, Lauren, in a series of Instagram stories which precede what the investigation will reveal is quite something. So I think we should go through it, Lauren, and then we'll discuss what this is potentially going to mean. So
this is what we needed, Dan. You know, the news agenda has aged me rapidly. Like, this is what we need to see. We need to see some investigations into Meghan.
Indeed we do, because there have been so many questions about her past for some time, so many suggestions. Was she operating as a yacht girl? How was she making her money? How was she traveling around the world? Maybe we're going to get some of those answers from House Inhabit. So let me take you through all of these Instagram stories, Lauren. So here she said, this folder has been in my draft since 2018. Now, they are the grabs of a couple of videos, which I have been very public about the fact that I have witnessed these videos before, and they do show the fake Duchess in a state of undress. Then she's pointing to this folder in her drafts, MM, clearly Meghan Markle, yacht girl. She says this has been in her draft since 2018, which means that this is a 8-year investigation. In the next Instagram story she posted, one of us has been quietly tracking the cover-up for 8 years. So again, these words really matter, Lauren, because what she is suggesting is that for 8 years, there has been a cover-up involving the truth of Meghan Markle, which presumably would also, in some ways, bring in the royal family and the mainstream media and Meghan's PR operation. She then went on to say, collecting sources and filing away testimony from all the people she's treated horribly. And this is the thing when it comes to Meghan, there are so many people who want to speak out. House Inhabit Jessica Reid-Krause said Scorpios don't sleep. They plot, sometimes for years. There was then a smirking emoji. So she's going to have some fun with this. This was, of course, the footage of Meghan from this event in Hollywood on Saturday night. But this is probably the most specific hint about the bombshells that might be to come from this House Inhabit investigation. Jessica Reid-Krause writes, I have all the scrubbed info. Soho, Epstein connections. Now, that is clearly a reference to Soho House. Photos and mistreated staff as meaning anonymous sources detailing what it's like to work for her. And then here's the mic drop, Lauren. A picture of Virginia Giuffre, the late Virginia Giuffre, as a much younger woman, with the words, and maybe it will make sense now why VG, clearly a reference to Virginia Giuffre, originally wanted Meghan to testify at her trial, which, remember, we discussed last week, is something that Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, David Boies, had previously gone public to the Daily Beast about. So, wow, I have been in contact with Jessica Reid-Krause for some time. I have been waiting for her to drop this investigation so desperately. Of course, she has been very focused on some of her other work about, you know, Candace Owens and Trump and all of what is going on in America. But I think this could be a huge, huge moment for Jessica Reid-Krause. I mean, there she was with Donald Trump, by the way, just days ago. What do you make of this, Lauren? What are you hearing about it? Do something for me right now. It is free. It is easy. It is simple. Just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's because over 50% of you watching this video haven't done that yet.
Well, I mean, I love an investigation. I'm often up till 3 a.m. going down rabbit holes myself. So I cannot wait to see this. If we look at this from, a legal point of view, she is not going to put something out there that she doesn't truly believe in. Evidently, this is an investigation that has spanned many, many years. She's very detailed and forensic. So I think Meghan Markle will be panicking because at the end of the day, Dan, things don't make sense with Meghan Markle. That's a fact. When Virginia Giuffre's lawyer gave that statement and referred to Meghan Markle, the press barely covered it. It's never been referenced post that time. And so you have to ask yourself, why would the press not mention that? Because that's factual. It's evidence. We can pull, those cuttings up and throw back to them. And they never do. Now, I think Virginia's lawyer was sending a very clear warning to Meghan Markle. That is my opinion. But if we also look at many things in Meghan's past, I think, are patchy at best. And she is going to be worried about this because, again, the mainstream media have not reported on the fact Meghan Markle was friends with Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend. That is a fact. Karina was dating Jeffrey from 2009 to 2019 when Jeffrey, well, who knows what happened, was unalived, popped to a bunker. We just don't know. But they had been on holiday together. There are numerous pictures of them on a yacht holiday. So the fact the press have never mentioned this and the mainstream media continue to offer some very questionable protection to the facts, this rings my alarm bells massively.
Yeah, and the thing is, what we want to know is why Virginia Giuffre was specifically calling on Meghan to give evidence.
Absolutely. And that statement from the lawyer was so smartly worded. It was vague, and it was vague by design. So that's why I think it was a warning to Meghan. If I sit here with my professional PR hat on, looking at that statement, they go through so many drafts, and it's, up to kind of 5-10 people around a table drafting that. Every single word in a legal statement holds weight. We all knew that Meghan hadn't spent a lot of personal time with Andrew once she was in the royal family. That's a fact. So the words that David Boyes used were very, very strange. Again, the mainstream media do not make the link that Meghan Markle's best friend works for Ron Burkle. Ron Burkle is, the big cheese at Soho House. Marcus Anderson is so much part of Soho House. They named the rosé wine after him. It's called Lady A. It's incredibly strange that one of Epstein's closest confidants, Ron Burkle, does not get a mention ever. These are strange circles, Dan. I always say, why go to somewhere like Soho House if, or any private members club? Like, normal people don't do that. We go to the pub. Why go somewhere where you're not allowed cameras and everything? I'm predicting it's not going to be a great year for Meghan.
And what's really interesting is if you actually go to People magazine, which now operates as a propagandist for Meghan Markle, but they didn't, Lauren, back in 2021 because they also followed up the Daily Beast story at the time. Meghan Markle could be called to testify in Prince Andrew case. This is still online now, probably won't be once I've pointed it out. But look, here's what David Boyes said, quoted in People magazine. One, she is in the US, so we have jurisdiction over her. 2, she is somebody who obviously, at least for a period of time, was a close associate of Prince Andrew and hence is in a position to perhaps have seen what he did, and perhaps if not to have seen what he did, to have heard people talk about it. Because of her past association with him, she may very well have some important knowledge and will certainly have some knowledge. 3, She is somebody who we can count on to tell the truth. She checks all three boxes. Well, I would argue he's wrong on that last count. Actually, if there's one person, David Boyce, who you can't rely to tell the truth, it's Meghan Markle.
But I don't think that statement was ever, you can read so much between the lines in that statement. You know, lawyers don't often release statements that are purposefully vague. He's really covered himself in the wording in that statement. To me, that clearly reads, we have your card marked. That is how it reads to me. And you know, the public, quite rightly, have a lot of unanswered questions for Meghan Markle. We want to know why she is allowed to cause the damage I believe she has gone out of her way to try and do to the royal family. She behaves in an incredibly entitled way, and things don't match up. You know, there are some incredible researchers out, and the public also have done so much investigative looking into Meghan Markle. Things don't add up, Dan. And often when the mainstream media omit details, there is a game that is being played, and that doesn't work anymore. No, thank you. We'll get to the bottom of it.
And then Meghan is doing her best to make this Hollywood comeback. So, I mean, she will be absolutely terrified about the idea that this House Inhabit investigation is finally going to drop. I mean, I'd love to see how Sunshine Sachs, who is the PR company famous for dirty tricks, back on board after she sacked Meredith Maines. I'm going to love to see how they try and deal with Jessica Reed-Krause and House Inhabit. But what's clear is that Meghan believes her best approach is to just keep on accepting any invite, even if she's not really invited to an event. And we saw that on Saturday night with this really weird interaction with Emma Grede on the red carpet for the 15% organization. Now, you could argue that she was here, Lauren, because it was celebrating Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother. And what's so interesting, and I think this does say a lot about where Meghan's celebrity status now is, she's friends with the moms rather than the stars themselves. So she's friends with Kris Jenner, she's friends with Tina Knowles, she's not friends with Beyonce anymore, she's not friends with Kim Kardashian. But look at what happened here. She can't even keep it together in front of the paparazzi. Look, she actually pushes the assistant to get out of her shot. But did you think this worked, Lauren, from a PR perspective? Is this what Meghan wants the world to see of her?
I mean, I personally think this whole 15% pledge is an absolute nothing burger. I don't see her pledging 15% of shelf space to Black business owners. I don't see her giving, you know, her profits. Not that there probably are any. I mean, Jan's not really worked, has it? But I don't see her doing any of this. And this is why I absolutely despise philanthropy when it's used like this, because this really is a networking event for all the elites, isn't it? For all the people that have got too much money, they've turned up, they all want to enhance their own brands. That's why they're there. I am sick of seeing Meghan Markle and Prince Harry turn up to anything that they feel will propel them forwards. You know, remember what your mother did, Prince Harry. She was doing the charity work that was not cool, the charity work that people shied away from. She was shaking hands with, you know, victims who had AIDS and were dying from AIDS. When people were scared to touch these people, you know, Diana was shaking their hands without gloves. It was monumental. And all we see is Harry and Meghan just turn up. And evidently it just looks like they just want to be famous and line their pockets. We saw Meghan at the Baby to Baby gala. We've seen her at Kris Jenner's event. This is grifty, it's disingenuous, and I absolutely despise celebrities using charity or philanthropy or social enterprise in this way, because actually the real celebrities that care, You never know when they're popping to a hospital. You never know when they're donating some of their money, because they actually are doing it because they want to do the right thing, not because they've put on a black satin shawl that is absolutely gross and they just want to pose for a few pictures. I mean, Dan, honestly, most of the time when I had celebrities do events like this, they didn't even bloody stay for the event. They'd had their picture and they'd go. Or, you see them at these like charity events for kids and they're just sat there almost with a tear stick. And then they don't care. These people don't care.
They don't. They're told they have to go and this will be good for you. And so they show up. But what I thought was interesting, and this relates to your previous point, Lauren, Meghan Small posted, I guess Meghan Markle isn't playing up being black while attending the 15% gala, which was honouring Tina Knowles this year for her leadership in uplifting black-owned businesses. Let me remind everyone, Archewell was made up of only white employees. And I thought that was a very good point, Lauren. I mean, I hate identity politics altogether, but if you're going to go there, Meghan has done nothing in her own businesses.
The latest royal firestorm erupted after reports emerged that independent journalist House Inhabit has spent nearly 8 years researching Meghan Markle's background, social circles, career connections, and pre-royal lifestyle. Supporters of the investigation claim it will reveal previously ignored details about Meghan's networking within elite celebrity and luxury circles before meeting Prince Harry. Critics of Meghan argue the investigation could challenge the carefully managed public image that was presented during the Sussex's rise to global fame. However, supporters of Meghan Markle strongly reject many online rumors and accuse critics of attempting to smear her with sexist narratives and conspiracy theories. That divide has made this topic incredibly controversial online. Online reaction to the reports has been absolutely massive. Supporters of the investigation claim the public deserves transparency and believe unanswered questions should finally be addressed openly. Meanwhile, Meghan supporters accuse critics of engaging in character assassination designed purely to humiliate and discredit her. The conversation has quickly become one of the most divisive royal debates currently dominating YouTube, X, Reddit, and celebrity gossip forums. And because the allegations involve celebrity culture, wealth, royalty, and media influence all at once, interest in the story continues growing rapidly. At this stage, many questions remain unanswered. What exactly will this reported investigation contain? Will there be concrete evidence? Or will it simply reignite years of online speculation and controversy? One thing is certain. Anything involving Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and allegations about hidden truths from the past instantly becomes global headline material. The Sussex saga continues generating enormous public fascination because every new controversy seems to deepen the divide between supporters and critics. And if this investigation truly moves forward publicly, the fallout could be enormous. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Meghan Markle has been unfairly targeted for years? Or do you believe important questions about her past have intentionally been ignored? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal news, commentary, and breaking updates.